Okay, some of you have joined. I don't know why I can't join on my computer. That's kind of weird. I need that to pop up so I can see your comments. When you get in here, say hi. I'll find a way to see them. Hi, everyone. Happy Tuesday. Why is it not working? Hmm, let's see. How odd. Well, there's six of you in here. I just want to see your comments, so I got to figure that out. Stand by. I'll try to talk while I'm looking. There it is. Yay. Allie, Brenda. Sheriff? Oh, yes. I usually do dance at the beginning of these. Oh my gosh, too funny. Hi, Laura. Yay. Happy you all are here. Okay, real quick. So I was thinking about what I wanted to start with an intro for tonight, and it just so happens that tonight is a new moon. And there is symbolism behind a new moon, spiritual symbolism, and or just opportunity to reflect and use the new moon or the full moon as times where you kind of treat it like a new year, right? Like there's times in the year where you're like, oh, I need to like do an audit of my life and come up with new goals, new intentions, or whatever. Sometimes I use the moon cycle, which is kind of cool because women are the moon, men are the sun. So if you're a woman in here, the moon is extra symbolic. So, anyways, new moon is a time where we can really think about getting rid of old habits or patterns or parts of us that we just don't really need in our life anymore or identify with. So, the new moon asks us to release old patterns and then have new intentions moving forward as that moon grows and gets closer to a full moon. It's kind of like what you're doing is you're starting from square one, and then each day you're growing, improving, and you have new intentions. So I love the moon cycles. Hi, Janelle. I'm so glad you all are here. So why don't you all take 1 minute, think about what you want to purge from your life or remove, or habits or patterns of yourself that you're just like, these aren't working for me anymore. And think about a new intention. And maybe it doesn't come to you right now, but maybe by the end of the evening, you can sit with your tea and you can do your breathing practice in bed and let that all come to you and then honor the new moon with it. If you're so compelled, hi Natasha, put it in the comments and let me know what you're working on. Okay, so tonight is class number 8. So for those of you who have been sticking with me every single Tuesday for 8 weeks, holy moly, we are on class number 8. I don't know how. That's 2 months of work, and we have come a really long way, starting from the foundation of the pelvic floor and the core, using breath and connecting in so many ways, to now, tonight, adding it to our function. Whoa, this is going to get a little bit more challenging. Yay. But like every other night, we're going to warm up the way we've been warming up. And so, especially if there's anyone new in here, I will talk while the veteran folks work through the stretches and the movements we've been doing. So, to prepare, you're going to be on your back. We're going to start with some breathing. Breathing is the connection to our core and pelvic floor. So, let's get into it. We'll do that. Meet me on your back, knees are bent. All right. Oh, I'm home tonight. If you all didn't realize that. There's Elle in the background looking all regal. Oh, she just winked at me. Okay, so we're gonna start with our breathing to kind of warm up the core and the pelvic floor. And we'll use our elephant brought by your dog. Make sure you can all see me. All right, we're gonna do 1 to 2 minutes of this. So, like I said, veteran people, go jump right into it. Get settled, let your body relax, and just feel the ground underneath you or the floor underneath you. And get your low back in a comfortable position, kind of neutral. Don't have it arched. Don't really You don't really need to press it down into the floor, just kind of neutral, hanging out. Start with a big inhale. You're going to inhale, let everything relax. Expand into the belly, into the rib cage. Again, it's a cage, 360 degrees, expanding forward out to the side and into the back. Exhale through pursed lips. Pelvic floor comes up and in. Deep core comes in. Belly button to spine. Ribs come down. Bring all that air out. Big inhale. Relax everything. Pelvic floor relaxes and lengthens. Exhale, pull it all up and in. Be very intentional here. This is how you connect. That brain body connection is so important. So take your time and make this really valuable time where you're spending on connecting. And remember, a muscle needs to lengthen in order to contract. Big inhale, fill it all up. Exhale, bring it all out. Blow all that air out. Pull everything in. Inhale, expand. Let yourself get big. Let go of everything, all that tension. Blow out all the negativity from the day. We don't need it anymore. It's a new moon. You're renewed. Everything's refreshed. We have new intentions, new goals, new vibes, new feelings, new energy, new moon vibes. Couple more. Big inhale. Exhale. Pull it all up and in. One more big intentional inhale. Pelvic floor relaxes. Let it go. Big, 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 big. Exhale. Blow it all out. Pull it all in. Beautiful. Roll onto one of your sides. You need to get that rib cage moving so that everything functions and the pressure management in our system is good. For those of you who know this one, we're doing the open and close book. You're going to do a big inhale, reach to the other side, look in that direction. Your spine will follow your eyes and your head. So really look. Think about your rib cage doing most of the motion. Exhale, bring it back together. Inhale, open back up. Exhale, close the book. Repeat this 10 times total. Your knees aren't moving, bent in front of you. After you've achieved 10 on your time and your breathing pattern, you're going to roll over and do 10 on your other side. How about that weather we're having up here in New England? Oh my gosh, it's beautiful, warm. And honestly, that foliage really came out. It said, "Hey, I'm here still." And I really couldn't believe it. I didn't think we were going to have this vibrant fall. Looked amazing today. Today was the blue sky background, made those colors really, really pop, and like the glow of the sun behind the leaves really made them shimmer and shine. It was gorgeous. And then yesterday we had that gray color background, and I actually really like the gray color background. I think there's something kind of magical where the leaves get their moment in the literally in the sun, not really. Um, their moment in the spotlight when it's a gray background. All right, 10 on your other side. Hi, baby girl. Hi, sweetie. Stop and pet your dog because if you have pets, I'm sure they're hanging out with you on the floor. It is their favorite thing to do. And oh, maybe they bring you a stuffy that you can put your head on. Kind of nice. Thank you, Ella girl. Oh man, this side's way tighter for me. Woo! Really think about the rotation coming from your spine and your rib cage. Those are the leaders, not your arm. Especially if you have tight shoulders and you're not able to get all the way. Really, really think about rib cage being the mover. You want that rotation coming from there. I think you all are way ahead of me. I was dilly-dallying and talking, and I get off track here. Okay, next I want you to assume hands and knees in the quadruped position. If you do not tolerate hands and knees, you can sit in a chair. And for those of you who don't do hands and knees with me, the movement is the cat cow. And in a chair, what you're going to do is you're going to exhale into the seated cat. Inhale up into a seated cow and rotate through that on your own breath for about a minute. For everyone else who's doing hands and knees with me, hands are under your shoulders, knees are under your hips. You are going to do a big arch exhale it all out. Tuck your tail in, pull your core and abs in. Inhale, other direction. Let that spine drop between your shoulder blades. Exhale into cat. Arch that back away. Push, push, push. Tuck your tail. Inhale. Reach the crown of your head and your chin up to the sky. Spine drops between the shoulder blades. Exhale back into cat. Inhale, cow. Extend that neck. Rotate through that for another 2 to 3 breaths. Hi, Meredith and Gracie doing the exercises with us. Meredith is my sister-in-law. Gracie is my 2-year-old niece who is so smart and so ahead of her time in gross motor skills. Teach them young. Okay, back on your back. We're gonna warm up the core a little bit more, get those abs really firing. So you're gonna be on your back. Okay, 2 options here, depending on how challenging you want it to be. I hope you all, I think that's enough of being able to see me to know. Okay, legs are either out straight or bent. And what you're going to do now is, I'll do the straight leg version. On your exhale, keep your pelvis as stable as possible. Don't let it move. On your exhale, pelvic floor comes in, core comes in. You're going to lift your leg up and down on that exhale. Inhale, reset. Exhale, other leg. Inhale, reset. Exhale, other leg. The other variation is marching in place if the straight leg is too difficult. And how would you know it's too difficult? So what you'd be looking for is the inability to hold your pelvis straight or stable, excuse me. You might see some rocking left and right. You might feel the pelvis tilting, which would arch your back. So if you're having any of that, or you might see what we call a bread loaf doming in the middle of your core, that means it's too challenging and you're not managing your pressure well. So I would suggest dropping back to this version if the straight leg version is just too challenging for you right now. It's always a starting point, right? There's always something to improve and work towards. There's no judgment around it from me, from anyone else, from yourself to yourself. No judgment. It is a starting point, and that's what we all do. We all have a starting point. Okay, do 2 more on each side. Now, you might be noticing the leg that's not moving also has to stabilize you. So you're pressing into the floor with the leg that's not moving. Kind of cool. Okay, now we're going to do a bridge march to get the glutes firing a little bit more and challenge your core even more. So what I want you to do is on your exhale, you're going to lift your butt up in the air, squeezing your glutes. You're going to hold that. Now you're going to breathe normally with control. Keep your pelvic floor and deep core engaged. And you're going to lift one leg and the other leg on your exhale. Your butt is staying in the air. Your goal is your pelvis stays level. Your glutes stay engaged. Your glutes fire and you push your heel into the floor as you lift the opposite leg. So, for instance, as I go to lift my left leg, before I lift my left leg, I need to stabilize the right side and activate that glute. And then I can lift. Now, no holding your breath. Spine and pelvis are in line. You're not overarching. You're not sagging down. You're finding neutral and holding that. Breathing, exhaling as you lift. If you get tired, lower down, reset, try again. Let's go for another 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower down. A beautiful roll over onto your side. Come up to sitting. Okay, let's get into some functional movements and incorporating breath and pelvic floor and deep core into those movements. Let me just check the comments real quick. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Full screen. No, that's not what I want. Okay, how do I show my comments again? I want them on the side. Hmm. Okay. Maybe they'll pop up. Try to get my attention if you have a comment and I don't see them. Okay, go ahead and stand up. We're gonna start with squats, one of the most functional movement we can do. Let me just make sure this is gonna be high enough for you all to see me. Going up. That should do. Okay. So the basics of a squat, okay? So all of you are standing, you're in a comfortable athletic position, you're not locked out, knees aren't locked out, you're not in a duck position, you're engaged in the feet, engaged in your knees. Your feet will go probably for most of you wider than shoulder width. Play around with it. And then your toes are going to point outwards very slightly, not like this, that changes it into a sumo squat. Neutral with a tiny, tiny toeing out. And then what you're going to do now, I'll turn to the side, is your pelvis is going to be the leader for your squats, not your knees, because then you look like this. We want your glutes, your pelvis to be doing most of the work. And remember, the motion comes from the hip joint, this ball and socket here. So as you lower, everything lengthens. And what happens when we lengthen? We should breathe in because that's how we also increase the lengthening. And when we lengthen, we get a nice elastic property so we can squeeze and contract. Now, the muscle groups you're going to be focusing on glutes, quads, and I want you to tune into that and see if you can feel it. I want you to feel quads and glutes equally. Some people will feel one more than the other, and that's okay. Starting point. But so what you're going to do now is you're going to inhale, lower down, pretend there's a chair behind you, really sit back into it. Exhale, squeeze, pull everything up and in, pelvic floor, deep core, glutes. Now at the very top here, do not swing all the way through. This is not what we want. This creates you leaning on your ligaments and your joints, and it's not an active posture. And we want your muscles to be engaged. So when you over squeeze and swing through, you're actually not, you're shutting these glutes off more than you're actually using them. So inhale, sit back, lengthen glutes, lengthen quads, lengthen pelvic floor. Exhale, pull everything up and in. Glutes, core, pelvic floor. Inhale, lower. Exhale, up. Inhale, lower. Exhale, up. Now, if you're feeling it too much in your quads and knees, you might not be sitting back into it enough. Really tune into those glutes lengthening. Feel that lengthening and then squeeze them. The other cue that really helps people is thinking about pushing the ground away from your feet. So you're pushing into the ground with your feet. And then really think about this pelvis going up and forward, not straight up. If you go straight up, you're going to hit a little bit more quads and you might kind of lose your balance back. When you're down in this position, it went down and back. Now you need to go up and forward. The leader is coming from here. Okay? So let's practice 5 more. Inhale down. Exhale up. Inhale down. Exhale up. Now your goal is to get down to a 90-degree angle at your knees and your hips here. So again, kind of pretending like I look like I'm sitting in a chair, right? So as you're going, the other thing to consider is the width of your feet. If you're too narrow, you're going to be doing more quads. That's just how it is. But everyone's a tiny bit different based on their thigh and lower leg ratio. I'm a lot of upper leg, like this is longer for me. So I need to go a tiny bit wider. Plus, I'm really tall. So, anywho, play around with the positioning of your feet. Maybe you have to go a little wider to get a little lower into it. Okay, something to work on. I know you all did wonderful. Okay. I don't know, I can't see my comments. All right, that's okay. Okay, next we're gonna do some lunges. So single leg action here. When we're single leg, the pelvic floor has to work a little harder because one part of the pelvic floor is going forward, one's going back. So you're getting some stretching going on. Plus, there's more to stabilize when you have that alternating motion. So let's do some lunges. So they're going to be stationary lunges. We're going to do a reverse lunge tonight. So what that looks like is you're going to step back with one leg and then you're going to come back up. Now, a lot of people will overstep like a huge lunge. When you do that, you're actually performing more of a stretch and you can't maximize the length tension of the muscles that need to squeeze to get stronger. So ideally, for strength in lunging, you want to hit a 90-90. And what I mean by that is you have a 90-degree angle in the back of your in the back knee and then the front knee. So you're going to step back that kind of distance, okay? Now feet position in the front. If you get too close together, you're going to lose your balance. So you want to pretend like you're lunging on like a yellow line in the road. So you're going back that kind of distance, hip width distance. Okay? There's a balance component to this. And if you're struggling with balance and you can't connect to the muscles because of balance, hold on to something. There's no shame in that. It's a starting point. I hold on to things even like in my workouts because I'm like, I want to isolate this, I want to isolate that. But if I'm working so hard on balance, then it's not going to happen. All right, let's incorporate core and pelvic floor into the lunge. So you're going to go back with one leg and you're inhaling, lengthening. Exhale, push into that front leg, squeeze that front glute, pull everything up and in. Inhale, lower. Front leg's doing a lot of work here. Lean a little bit forward. Exhale into it, squeeze the glute. Inhale down, exhale up, squeeze the glute that's in the front. Let me show you from this side. So this is my front leg going down. You're going to do a mini hinge and you're going to think about just like the squat, up and forward, down and back. Pelvis is the leader, up and forward, down and back. Glute is lengthening, glute is squeezing, pelvic floor and core came in, exhale. Inhale, lower. Exhale. Okay. I want you to do 10 on each leg if you have not already. You can alternate for 20 or you can do 10 on the right, 10 on the left. Doing one leg first is going to do a little bit of an endurance training for the muscle because you're sustaining activity on one side. Alternating, give a minor break for the other leg. Inhale down, exhale up. Inhale down, exhale up. Okay. That was probably a lot because I was talking and I lose track. That's okay. You all know the drill, and you're doing it on your own time here. Okay, let's move forward with a little standing core action here and balance. So when you work on balance, your core has to engage too. So this activity is going to be a standing march. Okay, so very intentional, very slow. What I want you to do is on your exhale, you're going to lift one knee up and lower it down with control. Now, what I want you to be aware of is the standing leg, the one that's holding you up. you're going to be really active in that glute. And before you lift this leg, the other leg that's going to be lifting, stabilize through this standing leg. Glute is engaged, posture is tall, and then exhale, little crunch with that lower abdominal and lower it down. Now you can alternate or you can stay on one leg for the whole time. You're going to exhale as you lift your leg, pull everything up and in. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Really feel that core coming in on that lift. Now, be really careful you're not overdoing this because you could easily like do this kind of motion. Sure, that is one way we would be working your lower abs, but then it's not as intentional as we want right now. And I want you to be really in tuned and connected and working on stability right now. But if you were working on like plyometrics and power, yeah, you might be doing it more like this. But for our sake tonight, I want it to be really stable and controlled. Finish up, maybe another couple on each side. Okay, now we're going to move forward and do a little bit of oblique action in standing. So it's the standing oblique crunch. Good, we have a little time here. So you're gonna have your hands behind your head. You can do one side at a time if you want, because that is a big shoulder ask. And if you're tight, it might be easier to just do one side. So on your exhale, remember you got to stabilize one leg. On your exhale, you're gonna lift and meet your elbow to your knee. Now, it looks like you're mostly working this moving side, right? But you're actually really squeezing that standing glute. So feel that, really feel like how you have to squeeze through here in order to lift your other side up. Kind of cool. So you're gonna do 10 on each side. You can alternate if you want, or you could do like 5, 5, 5, 5. But on your exhale, meet the knee with the elbow, or at least go in that direction. Now, again, be careful with the spine and the pelvis. You don't want to be like arching or tucking under too much, kind of staying in this nice neutral position. Do my other side. So it's this lateral crunch. You're really creating this closing off of the side of you. So think about the side ribs on that meeting your pelvis and using that oblique muscle to crunch as your elbow and knee come together. Oops, see, I lost my balance. So if I need to really be intentional, I'll hold on. Exhale as you lift, pulling everything up and in. Y'all are doing so good. So proud of you just for being here and putting in all the effort on a Tuesday evening. All right, what do we have for time? Okay. So those are some standing functional activities. What I want you to remember moving forward from tonight is anytime you have to exert yourself or really squeeze and engage, try to exhale. So, like, say you had to lift up 40-pound bag of dog food. Okay. So you'd go down, inhale, exhale, pull it up and in, and then really stabilize as you carry that dog food into the house and then go up the stairs with it, right? So this is all super functional and it'll carry over to your daily activities. Um, so you always want to think about, you know, that exhale on exertion. And eventually, this system that is anticipatory and is able to build habit and react on its own because the nervous system's so fast, it'll do it on its own eventually, which is so cool. And then you'll be able to engage and stabilize without needing to breathe and like connect through breath. All right. So let's end with a couple stretches just to kind of settle back down and in. I want you to do some child's pose now. So on your knees, drop your hips down to your heels as close as you can. Extend out forward. Oh, stretch those shoulders. Drop your head down. Let your head rest on the ground if you can. Big inhales here. We're working on calming back down, relaxing, and settling in for the night. So big inhales. Find any tight spots in your mid back. Look at all the dog hair on your carpet while you're down here. Then the option to reach left and right to open up one side of your rib cage versus the other. And once you find that tight spot, really breathe into it using your breath and your lungs to stretch yourself from the inside. Kind of a nice thing. Inhale, expand, exhale, sink down into it a little more. Inhale, exhale. Okay, roll onto your back real quick. Where we started. Ah. Feet are really wide, wider than your shoulders. And then I just want you to do your windshield wipers. Ugh. Get those hips mobilizing. Those hip rotator muscles that attach to your hips connect into your pelvic floor. So you must have mobility in those muscles. So you have mobility in your pelvic floor, fascia connections. And the more mobility you have in your hips, because it's a ball and socket joint, the less mobility you need to get from your sacrum and your low back, where you can stabilize and have less risk for injury and pain. And bring your knees into your chest. Give yourself a big hug. Couple of big breaths here. You might feel restricted because your knees are pressing on your ribs. That's okay. You can breathe into the outer portions of your ribs and expand through there. Big inhale. Ooh, feel that go into your pelvic bowl, into your pelvic floor. Let it go. Oh, yeah. Can feel it more in this position, me personally, anyways. Use this opportunity to let all the baloney from the day go. Blow it out. It does not serve you anymore. Do not hold on to it. Do not box it up and put it away for another day. Mm-mm. Blow it out and watch it float away. Feel lighter. Don't bring any of that baggage with you. Hmm. Roll onto your side. Push yourself up to sitting. Join me in front of the camera. Okay, how does our time go so fast? Probably because I gabbed the whole time. I think you all are doing wonderful. I am so glad you're here. Um, just a couple of reminders. I am not in Jessie Brown's space tonight, but she does have a beautiful sauna system, and I definitely recommend it for people who are looking to go through like a little bit of skin detox, relaxation, just some warmth therapy as we're moving into winter, some light therapy, all the healing benefits of red light that's showing up in the research. So check that out. Core Healing Massage in Brattleboro, Vermont. And a reminder, I do have shirts that I love selling to you all. So if you would love to check that out, it is linked in the Fit Doc group. And then the last reminder that this is a free class. I just accept donations if you're feeling compelled to make a donation. That is through my Venmo. It is my full name, no spaces. And yeah, anything you happen to have or can give, I'm very appreciative of. I enjoy doing this class with you. We have four more beyond this. and then maybe we'll structure a different kind of class. But for those of you who have stuck with me for 8 weeks, I appreciate you and I have so much love for you and I'm so proud of you, like making a commitment to yourself and showing up here and trusting me to help you with that makes me feel very good. So tell your friends, have them join the group. Let's make this a little bit bigger and better. And the more that we help and support each other, the more we do better. So, anywho, questions, comments, concerns, drop them in the chat here. See if I can find out how to get that to pop up again. Da, da, da. I might have to exit real quick and then I'll come back in on my computer. Okay. Popping back in. Does that work? Yes. Okay. Allie, you are welcome. Thanks for being here, my friend. Any questions? I see my chat, so yay, there's something. Ooh. Allie says I also journey with the moon cycles. This time I'm releasing putting shoulds on myself. Ooh, that's a good one. And giving yourself more grace. Oh, yes. Don't should yourself. That is so good. Thank you so much for sharing that. I bet that's helpful for some other people to really reflect and find meaning in that for themselves because we do that all the time. I should do this, and when we're relaxing, we don't we don't feel productive. When in reality, relaxing and resting is productive because it prepares you to do more. And that's when we repair. Our cells get a chance to regenerate and recover. So resting is so productive. Give yourself that grace. I give you grace. Brenda, thank you for another great class. Enjoy the rest of the week, you too. Thank you for being here. Always a pleasure. Anyone else? Okay, everyone. I'll see you next Tuesday. Yes, I will be around. I'm going to a wedding in Florida. Um, and I will be back here, probably in this space or Jesse Brown's space. I don't know yet, but I'll be here no matter what, because that's the beauty of virtual. I can do it anywhere. I would do it out in the field if I had to, under the new moon in the dark, but then we would see all the beautiful stars. Okay, everyone, be kind to yourself, be kind to others. I love you. Have a beautiful night, and I will see you all next week.